And we are back, and after what was an absolutely unbelievable night of European football, full of upsets, so much so that we're actually going to jump straight to the results from last night, because I definitely owe some clubs some apologies from last night. This is obviously what the scores were based on what I went for, and we have to start by talking about what was the result of the night really in Club Brugge going away to Porto and winning 4-0. That is an absolutely incredible result, and quite clearly I disrespected Club Brugge's potential. They obviously had a very good Champions League campaign last year with results against Real Madrid, etc. So maybe I should have been a little bit more respectful towards them, but what an unbelievable result for them. Also, I definitely feel like I owe some apologies to Bayer Leverkusen, to Sporting Lisbon and to Frankfurt, because I gave them very little chance. I said that they could all respectively get something, but I didn't really expect it to happen at all, as you can see by the predictions I went for last night. So all in all, some fantastic results for them, and obviously I did go for that slight upset in Ajax getting the draw away at Liverpool, which they very almost did if it wasn't for that late Joel Matip winner. So at least I feel a little bit justified in predicting that upset, but we weren't so successful when it came to the other ones. All in all, that meant that for last night we sadly only got a score of 2, which brings our season tally up to 16 after the first, 1.5 match days. Not even 1.5, because obviously one fixture is missing. But as always, please let me know down in the comments how you got on for last night. And now let's look ahead to tonight's fixtures. But we will start by looking at the one game left over from last night, which is, of course, Rangers up against Napoli, moved due to the Queen's body being moved around Scotland yesterday. So we do have this one game left over from Group A, and at the risk of being incredibly disrespectful once again, I don't really see this going anywhere other than a Napoli win. I think the way Napoli have started the season in Serie A, the way Rangers have started their season in Scotland, I just can't really see any other result than a Napoli win here. I'm going to go for 4-1 to Napoli. I think they've got so much quality, so much attacking prowess that I just think it'll be too much for Rangers in the end. But kind of like with Bruges last year, Rangers have had a good run at home in Europe over the last season, especially in the Europa League, where they obviously got all the way to the final. So it wouldn't surprise me once again to see Rangers pull off a result here, but it's certainly not what I'm expecting to happen, and I thoroughly expect Napoli to run away with it. So that concludes all the fixtures that should have been played yesterday. Now let's look at the games that were already originally scheduled to be played tonight and the rest of Matchday 2, Day 2. And we start with AC Milan up against Dynamo Zagreb. Two teams that got different starts than I was expecting. AC Milan not able to get the win away at Salzburg, and Dynamo with a fantastic home win against Chelsea. So I'm going to be a bit more respectful towards them this time round. I still think AC Milan should be getting the win here, so I am going to go for a 2-0 win to AC Milan in that one. But it remains to be seen. I think Zagreb could pull up some more trees and potentially sneak a result tonight, but we shall see. The other game in Group E sees Graham Potter take charge of Chelsea for the first time. They will be going up against Salzburg, obviously off the back of that draw with AC Milan. I think Chelsea get the win here. It's unclear. Obviously, we've not seen how Graham Potter has embedded himself in Chelsea yet. He's had a full week to work with the players and try and get his style of play across to them. Thankfully for them, it is going to be a very similar formation to what they've been used to under Thomas Tuchel. But I'm still going to be a little bit hesitant. I'm not going to go crazy like Chelsea are going to win this at a canter. They very well might, but I'm just going to go for a safe 2-1 here for tonight anyway. And then looking ahead to the Premier League, maybe then my opinions will change. But that is not going to be for a very, very long while, as their game has been called off this weekend. On to Group F, and we start with the surprise incredible result winners in Shakhtar Donetsk up against Celtic. The game, of course, being played away from the Ukraine for obvious reasons. So not really a home fixture for Shakhtar, but it is in the essence of the competition, their home game against Celtic. And I think they'll beat them. I really do. I think if they play the way they played against Leipzig, they'll have far too much for Celtic. I know Celtic like to think they're a good team, but they were very comfortably beaten by Real Madrid, in my opinion, last week. So I think if Celtic play the way they did last week and Shakhtar play the way they did last week, there is only going to be one winner here, and that is a Shakhtar Donetsk win. And I'm going to go for 3-1 to Shakhtar in that one there. The other game in the group sees Real Madrid coming up against Leipzig, and kind of like what I just said about the other fixture in this group, if these two teams play the way they played last time out and Leipzig continue to play the way they've played in the Bundesliga so far this season, this is going to be a very comfortable win for Real Madrid once again. They are more than likely still going to be missing Karim Benzema after he picked up that injury in last week's game, but I still expect them to have far, far too much quality for Leipzig, so I am going to go for a 3-0 win to Real Madrid in that one. On to Group G, and we start with FC Copenhagen up against Sevilla. And this is a tough one to call. It's very hard to place like how good Copenhagen are in respect to these other teams, as we don't often see them up against teams of this quality other than when they do play Champions League. I think Sevilla are probably the better side here, but you never really know. I'm just going to edge it to Sevilla this time round, and based on how this one goes will probably determine how I predict Copenhagen going forward, although their next two games will be against Man City. And speaking of Man City, their game tonight is against Borussia Dortmund. Erling Haaland playing against Dortmund for the first time already. He'll be hoping that his first game against his former club doesn't go as badly as Lewandowski's did last night. He'll certainly be hoping for as many chances as Lewandowski got last night, but he will definitely be thinking, I could have scored all of those chances that Lewandowski missed. And if he is going to be presented with that many chances, then it's going to be a very easy night for Man City once again. And I do expect them to beat Dortmund. I know Dortmund are a good team when they need to be, but again, they've not made the best start in the Bundesliga either. They had a good win last week against Copenhagen, but I think the quality of Man City is just going to be too much for them in the end. So I'm going to go for 3-1 to Manchester City in that one. Finally then, we have Group H, and we start with Juventus up against Benfica. And off the back of the absolute chaos, if you have not seen it yet, please, I do recommend you go and watch the absolute chaos that happened at the end of the Juventus game at the weekend, which saw 4 red cards off the back of a 95th minute winner that was then incorrectly ruled out by VAR. Just absolute mad scenes at Juventus at the weekend. They're going to be looking to bounce back from that, and they come up against a Benfica team that have made a very, very solid start to their season. So I went for a controversial 2-2 draw last night that didn't quite pay off for me, but I'm going to roll the dice again, and I'm actually going to give Benfica the 2-2 draw here. And because I've scrolled too quickly, you would have already seen that I have spoiled my last prediction, but at the end of the day, I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised that I have gone for a very strong win to PSG against Maccabi Haifa, even though it is away from home. PSG have made a very good start to the season. Neymar looks to be back to his absolute best at the start of this season. Messi even seems to be putting in a little bit more work. So if all three of them are playing, and they're all playing the way they have at the start of this season, they're just going to blow Maccabi Haifa away. With the greatest of respects to them, I hope they can pull off another result, and the next time we do a predictions video, I can be apologising to them as well, but I just don't see it happening tonight. So 5-0 to PSG is what I'm going for in the final game. And that is going to conclude today's video. As always, I will put in the description all of the fixtures for tonight, allowing you to quickly copy and paste into the comment section so you can let me know what you think is going to happen. If you are enjoying this series, please let me know by dropping a like and sharing it with a friend. And if you don't want to miss out on any of the content we've got coming up on this channel, Nations League predictions will be coming back in the next week or so. So please do consider subscribing and ringing the bell so you don't miss out on any of that content. I will be back for the final Premier League predictions video on Friday before the international break, and I will see you then. Thank you very much for watching.